Yeah, sure. I'll start with Lalakai, what's it mean to be back in this squad after sort of getting your debut late last year?
It's great. I think getting the call from Renz, I think mid last week, I guess not knowing what was going to happen, just kind of focusing on going back into the TARS after the Aussage campaign and then looking to play club footy. So I guess it was always, a goal and an ambition to get back in. So yeah, just grateful to be back in and being amongst the guys again. It's been great. First session just before, so it was tough. Still trying to find our breath, I think. But no, really enjoying it.
Before heading over to that Aussage and Pacific Nations Cup at the start of the month, was there any chat with Dave or any of the coaches after missing out on that England series after getting your debut at the end of last year?
Yeah, I think so. Renz called me the day before the England squad got announced and just said, I missed out and just to keep working and you never know what happens in rugby with injuries and stuff like that. So as well as it was disappointing to not make that English series to go away with the Aussage squad. It was unreal to play that PNC and the bunch of guys that were there made it even better.
So just on that Aussage, getting that sort of 3 games back to back, do you think you're in a really good spot if, say, you get called on with Samu out, that you can really just slot into that side and take it to Argentina if needed? Yeah,
I think you look at the games and who we played, strong physical in the conditions that we played in as well. So, I'll be banking on those 3 games to hopefully, match fitness is up there. So, I think I'm ready if I get the opportunity in Argentina.
Just on that, mate, is it a different prospect than maybe in the past you might have gone back and played club footy or whatever, or had a week or 2 off? But you've essentially, as you say, been playing test footy, really. They're all test strength Pacific Nations teams. Does that put you in good stead? It's like that Australia A program has provided, there's not a huge leap for you now if you were asked to go and play for the Wallabies?
Yeah, 100%. I think you look at, again, who we played, Fiji, Tonga and Samoa, especially that Fijian side. I think it's a huge step up from to going back to play club footy. So I think if you're going from that competition into the Argentina series and the championship, I think you should take a lot of confidence out of that. I definitely did, playing against those sides. So look, I don't think, as well as it's a big step, but I think I'll be ready for it.
What about in general, mate, just on that Aussie A, while we're here, is like the value of you coming back? I know you've played Test rugby. You got Matt next year, who's kind of come up through the program now. From a player's perspective, how valuable is it to have something like that to fill July and give you that sort of level of footy?
It's huge. I think going into the Aussage campaign, didn't know what to expect. But as soon as we got over there, it's the same environment as here. You're basically playing for Australia. So the competition was massive, and like I said, the teams we played against, like you just look at who's in those teams and everything. So I think it's a great setup and it's a great competition, and I think Aussage should continue.
Lal, I just want to jump in on that quickly. It might be a bit of a strange question, but observing those games, it was really enjoyable to watch the games just flow without, constant TMO interruption and everything like that. Did you notice as a player that it was kind of a different mood to play, or that it was a more enjoyable game at all to play at that kind of standard?
Yeah, I think so. I think, the game just flowed. There was only one ref on the field, and I guess 2 touchies, and no one looking from above, and having a third say. So I think when you scored a try that was touch and go, you'd either award it or you wouldn't. So then you get back on the game. So I think from going from Super Rugby into Aussage, I think it was definitely more free flowing just because of the no TMO. But like there's TMO now. So
yeah, I think we were a little bit unprepared that first game against Samoa. I think we went in there not expecting the whole TMO not to be there and whatever. Like, it just wasn't a thing we talked about. And I think there was a few things there when we didn't react well. And then after that first game, we kind of realised, like, yeah, okay, this is not here, so we can just kind of play some footy. And that's why I think we played so well against the Fijian team. Like, we were expecting a bloody good side, and we knew that, like, that if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. So just play rugby, play what's in front. If the ball goes down, don't stop running. Just, like, kick it, do whatever you can, just keep playing. And I think that really came in, just not having any of that, extra TMO support there or whatever that. But it's a bit different now, yeah.
Oh, look, that's a great answer. I just wonder, as a player, like, maybe not in the best position, but do you think the players prefer that style of game then?
Yeah, I bloody enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. Like the heat over there was a bit crazy, but you're just playing. You're playing rugby, and that's why I think the Fijian boys are bloody good at it, throwing the ball around and stuff like that. But I think we were quite good against those fellas. A bit easier for us to play against the bigger fellas like Samoa and Tonga. I think they were struggling like we were, but it's just fast footy, so it was enjoyable.
Thank you.
Great answer.
I was going to say, Matt, while we've got you, just to be sort of sitting here in a Wallabies camp, having gone through coming through the rebel system after coming from South, what is it? Have you been sort of had time just kind of reflect on that journey and sort of now essentially where you find yourself these days?
Yeah, mate. Well, I've been around the park for a while now, so I am enjoying it. Like, I think I was actually in training camp with Wallabies about 4 years ago, end of 2019, and I've been struggling a little bit with injuries, but I've always been like, head up, looking to try and get it back in here and trying to really give it a crack, mate. But I think after a while, you just realise this is rugby. Like, this is the pinnacle of it, playing for Australia. So it's just what we do. It's what we want to do. Like, I'll have a little bit of time to think about it eventually, but until I get that gold jersey on, I'll just keep fighting, eh?
I guess getting that taste of it with Australia, I've heard from Lau before, but what did that mean to you just to kind of get to that next step and really kind of impress against some of those bigger packs in terms of Samoa and Tonga especially?
Yeah, like I said before, mate, we were a little bit unprepared. I think we had about 5 days going into that Samoa game.
Sessions,
And I think Gilly, the coach, he had a great thing to say about that. He's like, the first week we were just names on a sheet of paper. It's the first time we've done Australia A, the first time for a lot of these boys been in any sort of the next tier thing after Super Rugby. So I think that first week was a little bit tough, but after that, mate, honestly, it was great. Like, I think we started gelling really well, the boys getting together, playing good footy, just playing against like quality players. Like, there's a few boys in that Fijian team. I played a bit of footy with Frank Lamani, and I know the quality player that he is. And I think we did bloody well, to be honest. And it was really good preparation for this, especially. I think we really follow on what the Wallabies do in that Aussie A stuff. So it's really been a good transition from that to this.
Matt, I know you've only been in camp on the Gold Coast for 24 hours now, or something like that. You can't hear me?
I can hear you, mate. Go.
Okay, yeah. But what have you been able to learn off someone like Slipper in that time, and how much will you be sort of, I guess, his shadow, for want of a better term, while you're with this squad trying to learn off a guy who's got as many caps and as much experience at test level as a prop as he has? Yeah,
mate. You can definitely see it. I think even in the meetings, like him taking control of our smaller meeting groups, I can see a bloke that's played 110 caps for Wallabies. Like, I'll try my best to emulate that, but mate, I'm just gonna focus on getting that first game before I try and emulate someone like him. You can see, like, there's a lot of boys here that have been here for so long and have so much knowledge and stuff like that. Like, you take as much as you can out of it, but at the end of the day, you just gotta fight as hard as you can. So yeah, do what I can, eh?
Mate, your journey just this year has been a pretty good story. correct me if I'm wrong, but at the beginning of the season at the Rebels, you weren't first choice prop or weren't in the 23 at the beginning. And you know, how much work have you put into your game from then to get to where you are now? And have you had much communication since your selection in the squad with someone like Nick Stiles, obviously, who's got a front row background as a player and now is, you know, in the admin or coaching role he's in at the Rebels?
Yeah, it's been quite a good year. I think so. Like I said before, a few injuries from me. A double shoulder recon started last year. So the big thing for me was just putting weight on. And I think building through last season, I was a little bit apprehensive with my shoulders and just like tackling and all that. And I think we had a really good pre-season, long one, to be honest. There was a few injuries out of that one. But building into this year, I wasn't first choice, but I just knew that if I could get my shoulders right and get confident and put some weight on, I knew that I was pretty confident in my scrums. So I started to build my game around good scrummaging, and then everything after that will just hopefully be just extra. So I eventually started my carries getting better, tackling getting better, and then eventually, they started giving me a couple starts, which I was pretty happy. I actually got dropped for 2 weeks. Footy wasn't very happy with me after a scrum against the Force. And I remember, I think it was actually me and Bobby Tuttle, who was also in the Australian A. And we didn't play well. We got dropped for 2 weeks, and I think that gave us a bit of a kick up the arse to turn it around and go a bit hard. So, like, it is what it is. You're going to take them how they come. So if you're going to get dropped, you're going to have to go harder. Yeah.
Matt, you were in the squad in 2019 at some stage, is that right?
Yeah. A few weeks,
Sorry, you go. Well, can you kind of tell us about that experience and then coming out of there and not being back up straight away after that? Like, did you kind of lose hope, I guess, that it would come again? Or?
Actually, so that was end 2019. It actually was great. There's a few boys here that me and Nella were talking about the. I think they call it foundations now. Early morning training where it was me, Nella, and all the other fatties on the beach there with Checker, and he was kicking us up the arse, climbing up and down the beach at Coogee. But that was great, mate. To be honest, I was actually supposed to get a shoulder recon before I went into that. And I just said, you know what, I don't want one. I'd rather, if I'm in the Wallabies squad, I can try and stay there. So I just kind of brushed the shoulder recon. That was probably a bad idea. My shoulder started falling out during the year. But it was a great experience then, and it's a great experience now, and see how we go.
How do you think you've changed in that interim period as a player and as a person?
I've definitely grown up a bit. I'm obviously 27 now. I was 24 at the time. It was my first year in Super Rugby, and before that I was actually a Sparky. So it was my first year of rugby. Didn't really know how everything worked, and I think since then I've learnt preparation and stuff like that, how important that is, and also, just getting into that rugby state of mind rather than just you're there to have fun, you're here to work.
Thank you.
Matt, what was your brother Alex's reaction to your selection? He obviously represented Australia in sevens, but he's playing a bit of park footy in northern New South Wales now, and is he a farmer? He's got some cattle up there. He's got a funny story, that one. He's always been a greasy man, so he's actually he's a greasy real estate agent now, and he is still playing rugby. I think he restarted I think it's called Richmond Range. So their club been shut down for about 10 years, and like I said, he's a lippy guy, and he just went in there and said, I want to start this club back up, and I think they're doing really well. I think he's captain coach, and I think he's named a cup after himself, Alex Gibbon Cup. So all that's happening over there. But yeah, mate, he's quite funny. He called me up and he's like, mate, there's 173,000 players in Australia, and you might be one of the best ones. And I was like, yeah, whatever, mate. He was very happy. Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
Can I just check on one small thing that you mentioned there, that you were training under the same sort of patterns as the Wallabies? Is that right, Lal, with your experience in both? Like, did you basically play the same styles and shapes and things?
Yeah, same shapes, same calls, and it's pretty much same play sheet. So it's a great, like Gibbo said, it's a great platform to go from there straight into the Wallabies. You know, you kind of, I guess if it's your first training session and, you know, you didn't have Australia A under your belt with the same calls and stuff, you know, you'd have to learn quite quickly. So, yeah, same.
Thanks, mate.
Anything else, Abby? Thanks, guys. Appreciate your patience. Apologies, we were a bit late. I'll
Cheers, Ed.
see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.